Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Things are happening. The market's bleeding, but you may be glad to know what we know. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. And by the way, join us in the Freedom Zone, ladies and gentlemen. Click the join button underneath the title of any video or drop down in the description box and join us in Patreon. For less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month, you're going to get all your daily videos with zero Google ads and extra content as well. And with so much happening outside of crypto, politically and geopolitically, it is a great place to be to gap fill how all of this is connected to our investments. No question about it. Join us inside. We appreciate the support. Right now, $2.7 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 3.5%. So the whole market is down. 81,700 plus for Bitcoin, 1,700 plus for Ethereum, XRP $2.06. We're off 3.2 on the 24, and we're off 3.1 on the 7-day. Take a look at the range of price between 163 and 209. Yes, I bought the dip, not financial advice. And by the way, let me tell you, every time I've ever told you I'm buying something or selling something, that's not a joke. I'm doing these things. You could go back and time mark exactly when I said it in a video and whether I did it that day. And I'm telling you, if I say I do it, I do it. But again, not financial advice. I just want you to know I'm genuine. I'm not just saying these things. So it is a scary time for a lot of people, but I have gotten very comfortable here buying the dips because that's what wealthy people do. When you believe in the investment you have, buying the dip is an opportunity, not a fear factor. So here we go. Let's see. What's going on? More fear factor. Breaking. Chinese stock market falls 10%. And then take a look at this. It's not just China. It's happening all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. Black Monday for all stock market. Hong Kong off 8.7, Singapore 7, Japan 6, China 5.5, Malaysia 4.2, Australia 4.1, Philippines 4, India 3.9, New Zealand 3.6. If this continues, then recession is inevitable. Let's keep moving. In case of emergency, break glass and use XRP is what I say. But listen, there's some other things we need to understand first. Breaking, unusual whales. Shout out to Unusual Whales. Why is that like that? I know. Oh, that's the subscription. Okay. You could join these guys in a subscription too. Unusual Whales, fantastic. Shout out to them and all the hard work they do. Breaking circuit breaker triggered on Taiwan Stock Exchange. Let me tell you, circuit breaker, stay with me. Circuit breaker triggering on Taiwan Stock Exchange. Remember the 589 Comex rule? You remember hearing the number 589 in this community and wondering why it's so special? Well, we're going to get into it. The 589 Comex rule. Well, let's keep going here. Japan's Nikkei 225 stock futures trading suspended due to circuit breaker. Remember, Japan and U.S. are connected deeply when it comes to our global economy. Again, I highlight, the 589 Comex rule. Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street says we're at stock market. What are stock market circuit breakers? I'm about to tell you. They're automatic halts to stop panic selling. S&P drops 7%, 13%, 15-minute pause. Drop 20%. Market closes for the day. Individual stocks paused if price swings too far, too fast, 5 to 10%. Yeah. Keeps panic from becoming chaos. I say it's happening right before our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, the first video I ever made on YouTube was about none other than the 589 Comex rule and how it could affect XRP and the markets. Oh, yes, it was. Currently today, Taiwan, Japan, and other countries are dealing with a run or collapse in the markets, causing circuit breakers like 589 Comex rules to kick in to halt trading and prevent market crashes. taking a look at where we are today and how far we've come, I'd say we are river dancing on top of this thing. And let me remind you, while all of these markets are crashing, there's a call to audit the Fort Knox and all the gold in it. Okay? And let's keep going here with this reminder as well. Japan is using those circuit breakers. Taiwan is using those circuit breakers. Now, what I want you to do is listen to these highlights. Okay, so this is my first ever video I ever made on YouTube about the very thing that is happening today. Take a listen. Okay, so I found the 589 rule, which was created by the CFTC, the CME, and the CBOE. If you look into all of this, the CFTC is the Community Futures Trade Commission. The CME is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. The CBOE is the Commodities Board's Options Exchange. So all of these entities are together. And a federal judge, if I'm not mistaken, September 27th or in September sometime, came out in the, I think it was the My Bitcoin or that in the case with Bitcoin and the similar name. And the federal judge had ruled that all commodities, or all currencies, excuse me, were commodities and they were to be regulated by the CFTC. Now, that's not my opinion. That's what a federal judge said. So the CFTC has been deemed the referee of the cryptocurrency new world to come. They're the referee on the field. If we start to look within those rules, we find the Comex 589AB rule, which is a rule amongst the hundreds of other rules, if not thousands of other rules they have, to help govern and keep control of the market. Those particular rules point to price adjustments for stability, fluctuation, or a shortage situation, or a hyperinflation adjustment against a fiat currency. So that's pretty interesting itself, just to find that out. But I think the real question we need to start asking ourselves as a long-term investor is how? How does the price go up? The question is how. And it's pretty obvious to me that with the CFTC being deemed the referee of this new emerging market by a federal judge, it's no longer anyone's opinion. And if you want to put a 589 tie in it, they do have a 589 rule, and it does point to some pretty significant things. And that could mean that they have to do the Comex rule to do price adjustments for bringing in all these new FIs as they phase them in, and there's new use case running through their payment rails and all that stuff. So, or not new use case, but just new payment flows running through the rails. And they may use it to do that and circuit breaker the prices. They phase all of this in through sectors of the economy. Or maybe it's a situation where things start running so hard from Wall Street over into the crypto space that they got to circuit breaker this thing so it doesn't crash the stock market itself. Hello. That almost makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Seems how that if you think about it, you know, the New York Stock Exchange owns Bakkt. ICE owns Bakkt. So if they're opening the platform, I think they kind of know what they're expecting to happen to the one that they already own and run, right? So if we just start, I want to bring attention to all this stuff because I'm not the best at it. I'm not an expert at it. I've been going down this rabbit hole a long time. What I do know is that it's no longer the wild, wild west. Those days are over. They're over, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like we got a clue that let us know where we're going to be living as a coin and a emerging market, a new asset class. We're going to be living in the world of commodities, and that's amazing. And we don't know yet what's to come, but I just want to try to get as many people here in this place of how and who the referee is, so we can really be on top of what these new rules will be when they come out, and we don't miss anything. And if there's anybody out there that has an enormous depth to commodities, precious metals, and understands the Comex rule or the implications of it and what it can do, or if you have any experience of it being used at any time, love to hear your comments or your thoughts on it. And XRP, it could be that the Comex rule could get used in oil, gold, and silver, because it is a rule that is for the entire commodities market. So it can be used for anything in commodities that begins to run away, like hyperinflation due to a global reset on the dollar, which would cause precious metals to spike through the roof, and oil as well. That could be something that's doing, that's reference to that as well. There's many things that are here that this could be implying or whatever. And I hope I don't seem like I'm rambling, because there's a lot here, and I just want to get a conversation going about it, and I want to get more eyes and more ears on this information so we can be better informed as a community. So I just want to bring the attention to this stuff. The Comex rules itself, they're important because overall, whether it's hyperinflation, price adjustment, or fluctuation, stability, whatever it is, we need to understand that the CFTC can come in and they can freeze this market at any time. And I'm not talking about personal XRP transactions, peer-to-peer. I'm talking about market action. They can freeze buying and selling of the market whenever they say it's necessary. And we need to understand that, and we need to start understanding why would they need to do that. And I think there's going to be some reasons coming up here soon that we're going to find out maybe why they need to do that. Profound so far with the CFTC stepping in and taking action. I believe it was back in either 2008 or 2009, somewhere around in there. The oil had spiked to like $140 some a barrel, and they stepped in. Now, they didn't use the Comex rule, but what they did is they controlled it through the futures market, and they actually put handcuffs and guidelines on the people that were buying and selling the futures on the oil, which was like they weren't allowed to hold as many contracts, and the contracts weren't allowed to be but of a certain limit. So you could see how just in that example, they came in to circuit breaker oil from going too far, too high, too quickly, which I do remember gas prices went through the roof. They were high as I don't know what that year, and it was all due to that taking place in the commodities market. So that's an example I have found. It wasn't the 589, but it does certainly show that the CFTC is the referee on the field, and they will be coming in to make some kind of thing if they need to, whenever they feel they need to, and nobody's going to stop them from doing it. But it just shows again, too, look, this market is getting legit. This is the stuff that we've all been saying. We're waiting for regulations, and we still are. We're waiting for those new asset class regulations that are going to come into play, but they're going to come into play, and they're going to be governed by the CFTC. There you have it. That was 2018, ladies and gentlemen, my first ever video on the Comex Rule 589. Now, just the one little highlight in here. Another thing that I wanted to also mention is that remind you exactly what is happening today. This is, again, 2018. I'm a little blown away that my first video ever is so relevant today to the conversations we've been having on this channel for 7 years. Aside from the Comex rule itself and XRP, it could be that the Comex rule could get used in oil, gold, and silver, because it is a rule that is for the entire commodities market. So it can be used for anything in commodities that begins to run away, like hyperinflation due to a global reset on the dollar, which would cause precious metals to spike through the roof, and oil as well. That could be something that's doing, that's reference to that as well. There's many things that are here that this could be implying or whatever. And I hope I don't seem like I'm rambling, because there's a lot here, and I just want to get a conversation going about it, and I want to get more eyes and more ears on this information so we can be better informed as a community. No question about it. And it just shocks me that all of this is happening now when we're on the cusp of getting legislation. This year, this August, the president has made it very clear he wants all the bills on his desk to sign into law this year. And we're watching what I believe is, in fact, as we have heard from the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, this is, as I covered this weekend, a grand global economic reordering, a new Bretton Woods. Think about it. Getting where we are today and this bleed that we're having happen because of the introduction of tariffs on Liberation Day, this adjustment that's taking place is possibly going to force the Fed to lower interest rates. They have a meeting today on the very matter. If they cut interest rates, that puts the president in a position because he has to refinance the debt of this country. And if he can get them to cut interest rates to be able to refinance at a better rate by the end of this year, the country's going to be better for it. At the same time, we're watching Elon Musk do the waste, abuse, and fraud and get rid of that overspending, all of that ripped out of the government. At the same time, we're bringing tariffs in to reset the global economy, bring the manufacturing back home. You see how all of this is connected, and I think you see how all of this could lead to where we are today. This is a temporary bleed to reorganize and restructure not only the United States and its financial situation. This is a restructure bankruptcy right here. And there's no one better to do it than the bankruptcy king, Teflon Don, President Donald Trump. Write it down. It is not a mistake why this man is in the position that he's in today, because he was able to do it in his own personal business for his own family. And now he's doing it for the United States of America, whether you like him or not. That's where we are today, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it's not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one. I do want to leave with this very quickly here. I found this and I wanted to show it. What we're seeing, I believe, is more than just a domino effect on market crashes from tariffs. I do believe that this is a global reset, but not the World Economic Forum global reset. This is President Trump's global reset. And I'll take that any day over the World Economic Forum. Yeah. Keep an eye on the markets, ladies and gentlemen. Again, not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the Freedom Zone. I hope you will join us, ladies and gentlemen. The conversation continues. We're going inside right now. Again, not financial advice from me or anyone else. Come on in. Okay, now